Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. DutyRon checking back in with another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon on a Monday at noon here in New York City. I want to say a special thank you to all my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and all folks who positively interact in this community. Cat H, thank you for becoming a new member before the live began. Let me know in the comments before we get rolling if the audio is good. If we are good on audio, person number one, if it's too loud, I will back it up. If it's not loud enough, I'll pump up the volume, dance, dance, not. I won't dance. So let me know if we are good on the volume. I will take a peek at the chat real quick. But a special hello to everyone checking in. Dawn Marie, B. Higgs, thank you so much for being in here. Hi, Danielle. Great to see you. Kat H., thank you for becoming a channel member. Ami Ra, thank you for the number one. Dawn says pump up the volume. I'm not sure if that means pump it up. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Okay, that's the best I can do with the volume without blowing out your ears. Let me know if we are good, and then we can continue on with our live stream here today. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to try to make this a condensed version. Hello, Jocelyn. Great to see you. Thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure to see you. Hello, Dr. J. Coroner, inside the criminal mind. Good to see you. Interesting screen name. Thank you, Nicole Chambers, for coming in and saying pump it up. I think I pumped it up. So let me know before we continue any further. Thank you, 12-Step Woman, that if we pumped it up, we did good. I don't have Josh, the engineer, today. It's just me, myself, and I. So I'm hoping everyone is having a good Monday and had a great weekend. I spoke to you yesterday briefly out in the backyard. We spoke, thank you for the volume checks. We spoke about this Amari Nicholson case and situation out of Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a heartbreaking case. All too often we hear of situations where our young children, this is a 2-year-old, beautiful, innocent baby boy whose life was brutally taken from him by the actual folks who were left to care for him. We know the story. It's a young mother who left Las Vegas to travel to Colorado, as we always rephrase Colorado as Kilorado. She took a flight to Colorado to take care of her mom, who had tendon injuries from a dog bite. This is the story that I read, and this is the story that's out there. She went to take care of her mom, who had surgery, and she went out there, left the child at home with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was to look after the child. We're going to get into the whole story, but I want to give you a little backup, a little bit of media. Her mom did an interview. Her mother did an interview. The mom of the child is Taylor Nicholson. She spells it Tayler. She's a young girl, and she looks like, things in life have been perhaps rough on her. It's just from my observation. She's living in a Emerald Suites, which is the equivalent of a extended stay America. I'm trying to give you guys here in the States a little bit of a background on, the housing that she had going on. She was in an extended stay type of America kind of place. It's an Embassy Suites, and I think it's from the sign it said long stay kitchens. So displaced families or families who are on public assistance or receiving housing like assistance. A lot of times the government will put them up in these type of locations. So at the end of the day, less than ideal, but also, something that you could get by in raising a family. Probably tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of families are living in these extended stay Americas. So April 30th was the last time the mother of the child of Amari Nicholson was able to see him on a FaceTime call with the perpetrator, Terrell Rhodes, who is now charged with murder. I'm going to just queue up quickly. I want you guys to see, and I'm not going to do this in chronological kind of order. I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit based on what we're speaking about. If you bear with me, I want you guys to see an interview that that her mom did. Okay, the mother, Taylor Nicholson, her mom, her name is Carrie Howard, and she is the mother. This is the grandma where she went to Colorado to help assist her. So I want you guys to take a peek at this because I think it's important that we get an idea of what the grandmother said. Now, this is not new. This is an interview from a little bit ago. I'd like to say it was posted May 11th, so it's a tad bit old. But her mom is saying that she's terrified about the missing boy. So obviously, we didn't at this point get to the with this interview. We didn't get to this perpetrator being placed under arrest. So let's just look at this real quick. Thank you for the super chat. Leave it to Bieber. Says, hello, family. I pray legislation comes out at this day. These mothers and fathers can be held responsible for leaving their children. We're going to get into that in a minute. So stick around and hang around for my thoughts on that. We're going to get into that in a minute. But let me play this little bit of media for you guys, and I will. I'll be right back. I promise. All right, and let me know if the volume on this is good. Let me know if the volume on this is good. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. Two seconds. You know, DutyRon, I am challenged when it comes to media. All right, here we go. I know it's playing without media, without noise. Let me get it back to the beginning.
Family of missing 2-year-old Amari Nicholson says they are desperate for any answers. Thanks for joining us here
Let me
at
know
5.
if the volume's good.
Valdez.
Good evening, I'm Brian Loftus. We have team coverage on the search for Amari. Joe Moeller is with crews searching the area he was last seen in. But first, we go to the I-Team's Vanessa Murphy live in studio, who just talked with the child's maternal grandmother, who is in Colorado. It's an interview you are seeing here first on Channel 8.
Brian, Carrie Howard says Amari's mom, Taylor Nicholson, who's her daughter, landed in Colorado to help her recover from surgery on April 30th. She tells me they FaceTimed with Amari that night and he seemed happy, but that's the last time she says she saw her grandson. She says in the following days she did not see her daughter FaceTime with Amari again. Then her daughter said she received a call that he was kidnapped and she rushed back to Las Vegas. She also says she believes her daughter and her boyfriend's story isn't adding up.
We're not thinking that your boyfriend who just gave your son away to a stranger, like you're not finding anything wrong with that. I'm terrified over here. I'm a freaking mess. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't heal.
She also tells me Amari was also supposed to visit her in Colorado and she purchased a plane ticket for him, but her daughter decided to leave him in Las Vegas with her.
All right, so this is where I have the biggest issue. If this grandmother purchased a plane ticket for this young, innocent little angel who has now been murdered by the boyfriend she left the child with, why did she not? Who here, by a show of hands in the chat, if you had your parents or your grandparents or anybody for that matter pay for a plane ticket as a mother to travel with your child, even as a father, to travel with your child, and you have a already paid plane ticket, why would you not take them? Why would you not take them? Okay, a few things come into my head. A, she's going there to take care of her mom, who appears to be okay. This is an interview after her surgery. This mother appears to be someone who could take care of herself. She is in the hallway of a hotel lobby or a hotel room. It looks like a hallway or of an apartment building or a hotel. Linda, thank you for the super sticker. Hello to Paul Peck Drywall. So here's my question. This is my first one that jumps out at me. Your mother, the grandmother of the child, pays for your son's plane ticket. You opt not to bring him. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm scratching my head, and I don't have any hair on my head. Linda, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. I'm trying to get back to the other super chat. Oh, there it is. Let me highlight that. Leave it to Bieber. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into it. Please be patient with me. So this is where my head starts to spin. And as an investigator, I say to myself, that doesn't sound right. Why wouldn't she bring the boy with her and let the grandmother get some healing time with a bundle of joy that could perhaps take her mind off the surgery she just had on her heel? You're going over to take care of her. I get it. Maybe you don't want to. Listen, here's another thinking. I need to take care of my mom. My son, is 2 years old, needs a lot of attention. Maybe he's better off left behind. Okay. So there's the two sides of that argument, So this could go either way. We could say, a 2-year-old I mean, I remember when I have two boys of my own, it was tough at 2, the terrible twos. They're a handful. So maybe she felt, okay, I can dedicate my time to my mom and helping her. Maybe I'll bring him next time. She bought me a plane ticket. Maybe we can get a flight credit and we could come back when she's feeling better. I don't know. Yeah, Kathy Miller says, this doesn't pass the sniff test. Smells like not good, right? Okay, but again, we're sitting here and prejudging, which is not always a good thing to do. And let me just say this. Let me remove this. Hi, guys. Thank you for all the people who are joining in. Let me just say this quickly. Our law enforcement team on the ground in Las Vegas, LVPD, Las Vegas PD, did a bang-up job bringing this perpetrator to justice. So I will say this. Hey, Paul Peck, good to see you, brother. Paul, my last live stream in the backyard, I had Paul Peck merch on. I was wearing a Paul Peck drywall shirt. So everyone go over and check it out. Don't go check it out now, but go over and check out my last live stream. Outside in the backyard, Popeye made a guest appearance. So, again, our Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department did a bang-up job of bringing Terrell this piece of garbage, this piece of human garbage that we hope and pray jailhouse justice will prevail and take care of this guy. I want the Las Vegas PD to leave no stone unturned when it comes to a human life, no less a 2-year-old's life being taken. Janine Goodwin, great to see you. Thanks for joining. Melvina, I think I'm saying that right, says, what did she do with the ticket? That's anybody's guess. She could probably keep the ticket and ask for a flight credit, or the ticket goes to waste. There's only two possibilities of what that ticket did. Now, you could bet your bottom dollar that the Las Vegas police detectives in the homicide squad are and will and continue to investigate and question the birth mom, Taylor Nicholson, and the grandmother, Carrie Howard, and everybody in between. This case is far from wrapped up. This case is still being vigorously investigated because no stone will be left unturned. I can tell you that right now. No stone will be left unturned in this case. A, because it involves human life, and B, because that's what the police are there to do, to protect and serve. And you can bet your bottom dollar if there's something criminal going on with the biological birth mom or anything nefarious, any type of shenanigans, any type of slimy behavior, the long arm of the law will grab and pull that person to justice. There's cameras on the outside of the embassy suites, Emerald Suites. Every move that Terrell did with this boy, with the discarding of the body, there's media and there's reports that he put this boy in a dumpster. Anything that he did, you can bet your bottom dollar there's cameras on the outside of the Emerald Suites. So we will, as investigators, have a treasure trove of evidence. You heard in the initial statement, and we will listen to it, the police arrest report. They recovered blood splatter on the walls inside the embassy suites, Emerald Suites. I don't know why I keep saying embassy. Embassy Suites, it's Emerald Suites. So they took out blood from the Emerald Suites wall, discarded children's undergarments, diapers, things of that nature. And this investigation is far from over. Let me let the rest of this play. I think it's done. Stand by.
Boyfriend instead. I called Amari's mother, Taylor Nicholson, today. We briefly talked, and when I asked her more about her boyfriend's story, it appears she hung up.
So this is before he was arrested. This girl, this mom, Taylor Nicholson, was defending her boyfriend because she believed this piece of human garbage. So she believed him. Camilla Sweden says, I hope she doesn't have a GoFundMe. I'm not getting into that here. I'm talking about justice and, bringing proper justice and locking up anybody that deserves to be locked up that has anything else to do with this. If in fact the mom has anything to do with this, you can bet your bottom dollar that there'll be arrests coming. But for us to sit there and say that, she needs to be arrested because she did this, this, and this, I'm going to play a little bit of media for you guys so you can hear the district attorney talk about why he didn't bring forward criminal charges against her as of now. It's an interesting statement, but it says a lot. It says a lot. So this next clip is going to be from Court TV, and it's going to give you an overview of the of quite a bit here. So let's go to Vinny.
My name is Richard Myers.
Hold on, let's go to Vinny, and we will watch a little bit of Court TV quickly. I know the volume's off. I shut it off purposely. All right, here we go.
My name is Richard Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S, and I'm a lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Are you all ready? Okay. As you know, this case started out as a missing persons investigation. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you today that it is now a homicide. On May 5th, 2-year-old Amari Nicholson was reported missing from the Emerald Suites on Paradise and Twain. During the course of the investigation, it became clear that the circumstances were suspicious. We brought all of the resources of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to this investigation, including the homicide section. As the investigation progressed, it became very clear to us that Terrell Rhodes was our primary suspect. I'm here to tell you today that Terrell Rhodes has been booked for the murder of Amari Nicholson. There will be additional charges, however. While the arrest was taking place, Terrell Rhodes chose to fight with police officers, and during the course of that fight was briefly able to retrieve an officer's firearm. That incident was quickly de-escalated, and Rhodes was transported to the Clark County Detention Center and booked accordingly. I know you have questions. This is an active and ongoing investigation. We are still asking the public that if you have any information regarding Amari Nicholson's murder, to please contact Crime Stoppers at 702-385-5555. Thank you and have a good evening.
Can you talk about where the Amari is? Do you know?
These cases are difficult. These are the toughest.
There he is, Vinny.
And it's part of what we cover here at Court TV. I mean, there are a lot of horrific murders, a lot of different scenarios, but I think cases like this are the ones that at least make me the most angry and looking and searching for justice, because I don't understand it. I don't understand how anyone could do that to a child, how anyone could do anything but take care of a child and love a child.
I just want to say something about Vinny. I got to tell you, Vinny Politano, again, another guy who I get a good vibe from. He really cares about the cases he covers. I know it's his job, but he is definitely, he puts it all out there. So kudos to you on all the coverage of all these different cases. I've been watching them. I'm a fan of Court TV. I've been watching it way before I started doing these crime talks and crime time with DutyRon with you guys. So I've been watching this network for a while, and one of my good friends, Dr. Darren Porcher, is a correspondent for the law enforcement angle, and he put me on to this guy about maybe 3 years ago, actually to the network, and then I recently started watching him. I really appreciate the coverage that he does, and he did quite a bit of coverage, and he continues to do coverage for our boys, Orrin and Orson West over in Bakersfield. So,
Terrell Rhodes, charged with first-degree murder, made his first appearance in court. Let's take a look at how all that happened inside the courtroom.
This is the time set for the Las Vegas Justice Court.
Okay, before I let this continue, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pay attention to one thing here. Watch how the perpetrators, the other bad guys, the other criminals, they all know about this guy. They know about Terrell. The word's out inside criminal land of what he did. And as we all know here in the United States, bad guys do not like child killers. And watch how the masked perps, I call them perps, but they're perpetrators, the defendants, whatever you want to refer to them as. Watch how the other criminals who are waiting either arraignment or charges brought against them, watch how they look at him. Watch their eyes. Watch how their eyes look at this perp. Watch how they look at Terrell.
Initial appearance, court calendar, morning session. The purpose of today's hearings is to determine whether probable cause exists for recent arrests. Additionally, I will address custody status. I'll hear arguments of counsel. Before court, for each individual, I reviewed a temporary custody record, arrest report, Nevada pretrial risk assessment tool, criminal history, and other statutory factors. I'd like to call one case out of order, the Rhodes matter. The state of Nevada versus Terrell Rhodes, case number 21.
Keep an eye here. They're going to start bringing them out.
PC 022443. Are you Mr. Rhodes? Right, Mr. Rhodes appears to be present in custody.
This guy right here. I don't know if you could see the mouse. I could see it on my screen. I don't know if you guys could see. Can you see where I'm putting the cursor? The guy with the white T-shirt, and then this guy with the blue right above, right behind him. So it's there over each one of his shoulders. Can you guys? If you can't see my mouse, then that's what I'm referring to. Watch these guys.
Custody. Mr. Rhodes is here because of an arrest on May 11th of this year for first-degree murder, a felony offense arising out of an incident alleged to have occurred on May 5th of this year. Before court, I did review the items that I mentioned earlier. I did find probable cause for the arrest. I did note a pending misdemeanor case, and I'll next hear from the state.
It's going over the loudspeaker so they all can hear in the tank. We refer to that as the tank. They're in the tank, so but they can hear what the judge is saying, because it's coming over a loudspeaker, and then that little microphone that's extending out is for him to respond either guilty or not guilty or whatever his response is or whatever the questions are. He failed the polygraph. He took a polygraph and failed. That's also another thing we're going to get into with a few of my polygraph experts are going to join me on a live stream, and we're going to break down his initial interview and all of his evasive and deceptive tactics and mannerisms that he exhibited, which is a treasure trove of stuff because they did that interview unlike Trezell. Isn't that funny? Terrell and Trezell. Terrell had no mask on. So it was so much more. I shared it with Dan Ribicoff. I'm going to share it with Dan Ribicoff, the actual link to it. I'm going to share it with Mike, my FBI polygraph expert, and Dan Ribicoff. So I may have the two of them come in and break down all of the interviews involving the mom and this perpetrator. Let's let the rest of this play.
As to their position on custody status.
Your Honor, we're asking for detention pursuant to 178.484 subsection 4. We believe proof is evident, presumption great that the defendant committed first-degree murder in this particular case. We would note that the defendant lied for approximately 1 week regarding covering up the murder that he committed against this child. The defendant ended up confessing to Metropolitan Police detectives that he abused the child, hit the child numerous times, causing his death. He then ended up hiding the body after this occurred. Subsequent search of the defendant's residence found corroborative evidence inside, including blood on the wall and soiled child's clothing.
So he's saying they recovered blood on the walls inside the Emerald Suites and the child's clothing in a bag discarded. The clothing discarded in a bag or inside the location. This is just the prosecutor going over all of the evidence to, to justify the charges, if you will. I'm trying to not give you the legal mumbo jumbo. I'm trying to give it to you in layman's terms. This gentleman here is the prosecution, and he is telling the judge everything that they recovered and all the evidence, at least what they need to go forward with the murder first-degree charges and the additional charges.
So we're asking for detention in this particular case.
Thank you. I'll next hear from the public servant.
In Your Honor, my request is for the court not to make any decisions regarding Valdez Jimenez or any entitlement for release or bail pursuant to 178.484, and
That's his defense attorney appointed by the court right there.
instead allow Justice Court to make that determination in light of the fact that they're equipped to have a evidentiary hearing to make that determination. So that's my request at this time.
All right, thank you. The state is entitled to detention at this early stage of proceedings based on the nature of the charge. I am going to order that the defendant be detained pursuant to statute, detained without bail. Now, I am not going to make a decision as to whether the state has met their burden. What I have is about a page and a half arrest report. So there may be this may be readdressed at a future court date. This is likely going to be handled by specialty teams within the district attorney's office and possibly public defender's office. So there may be a hearing in the future to address custody status. But at this early stage of proceedings, Mr. Rhodes is ordered detained without bail.
Detained without bail. And I just want to remind you, you saw that grown man in court charged with first-degree murder. Once again,
that was a good question. I'm going to ask you guys to hold the questions until the end. I'm going to do a Q&A quickly at the end. But Charleston Amy says, can public defenders refuse cases, DutyRon? Public defenders are appointed by the court, so they basically don't turn down cases. You're afforded, and the court and under the Constitution, you're required to be represented by a lawyer. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to you. So public defenders, I've never seen one turn down a case. I've been around hundreds of thousands of cases, actually, over my 20 years, and I've never seen a public defender say, Your Honor, I don't want to defend this this defendant. Anyways, let's let the rest of this go.
I want you to see little Amari, 2 years old. 2 years old. I mean, 2 years old is that age where, toddler, they're starting to become little humans. Like he's becoming a little man and getting that personality and, starting to communicate and talk. And, question everything and just, the eyes are wide open, seeing everything for the first time, right? And kind of understanding it as a 2-year-old. And that life was taken. That life was taken. Alleged confession in the case as well. Could be a very strong case for prosecutors. Now, Taylor Nicholson is Amari's mother, and our affiliate KTNV spoke with her after that court appearance. Take a listen.
This is emotional.
First of all,
I'm going to ask you guys in the chat to please be respectful. Again, we're quick in the public court of opinions to find somebody guilty, but let's just listen to what she has to say, and then we'll talk about it. Let's try to be civil and try to be humane about this. There is a 2-year-old that she gave birth to that is now dead. We don't know if, in fact, she did it or had anything to do with it. So let's just listen and be respectful here because, again, the kid's not even buried yet.
what do you want to say about Amari?
He was an innocent soul. He loved pizza and oranges, and his favorite thing was Cocomelon. And he loved music and just running around dancing. He was always a happy baby, even when, times get hard or whatever, and you judge your character as a mother. He was always patient, and he loved everyone regardless of everything. And now with him being gone, it's getting difficult. You still see him running around, you still see everything, you still hear everything. And now we just gotta live through what he loves the most to keep his spirit close to all of us, and until that one time we could see him again.
How come it was important for you to come to court today?
Because this man betrayed me, he hurt me, he took my whole purpose of life away from me. And I don't want him to sit back and think that he's gonna get this at all easy. He took a precious child away from many people. And he needs to pay attention to how we all feel, because this is not okay.
You can choose not to answer certain things, right? So I just want to be clear. But the public is suspicious of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're also a mother who lost a child. What do you want to say to address that?
I feel like it's hard for me right now. I can't grieve in peace. I can't grieve properly at all. I'm being advised to stay home because it's unsafe. I'm not being able to be included in any of this, and I'm the one hurting the most. My baby's gone. I can't. It's hard.
Yeah, Paul Peck drywall. It looks like it says Terrell, but I can't see the rest of it. It looks like some type of like a crown, or Over here in New York, Latin Kings use that crown, but I don't know. It looks like it says Terrell. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's why I paused it right there. But again, it doesn't matter. She was in love with the guy. That's why she was with him. But let's just let the rest of this play. This is gut wrenching.
And everyone in the public, we respect your reach outs for the ones who do actually genuinely care and at least are trying to understand just as we are. And for the ones with the negative comments, we're still in court. I can't, it's very limited for things to be able to be said in the first place. And the negative comments is horrible. My son's up there looking down on all this, and he loved everyone for anything. And to sit here and see that this has brought hatred out of people when we're mourning over a child, that's horrible. He would not want that.
And so, did you believe Terrell when he said a woman came to pick up Amari?
I did. I had trust in him. And I would have never fathomed that this would have been the outcome. It's horrible.
Was there ever a point before his arrest where you didn't believe him?
No, not necessarily didn't believe, just started being more aware of the signs until on Wednesday when we went to Metro.
When you found out, what went through your mind?
My head just fell. I was disappointed. I felt betrayed. I just felt my whole insides just fall out. I had hope that I was going to see my baby again, and they told me that was never going to happen.
And again, I just want you to address, I want you to have a chance to address what people are saying. And one of the things is you talked to a couple of reporters, right? And Terrell shared his version of what happened, which we know police say is a lie now. But people said, well, how come she wasn't crying? Or how come she was so calm? Or what do you want to say to people who are sort of criticizing you?
Everyone handles stress and irritation a whole different type of way. And I mean, I've seen comments on Facebook from people I haven't even talked to in months, years, who you have to know me to understand. I've never been the type of person to just sit here, start crying, and let everybody know what my emotions are. I've always been a closed-off person. And so me being in front of detectives and reporters, I want to try to be level-minded to try to understand the full circumstances of what's going on instead of sitting down, breaking down about, and not being able to really gather all the information. I've had my moments of breaking down every time I'm alone or I leave. I'd be doing anything and just start crying.
I want to say something here too. For those of you who are in the chat, and I know a lot of people feel that she's guilty or that she should be charged or something. I mean, as a father, I say to myself, shame on you for leaving your kid with this guy who ultimately killed her son. But, if you can't trust the person who you're with, if that was her husband or her man or whatever you want to call it, if I was dating my wife, who I'm with now, and we had a kid together, I would trust her to watch our son. Again, this is not the biological father; that's our boyfriend. The guy turned out to be a horrific monster, but she's also telling everybody in this interview that she keeps to herself. She's not an emotional person. That laugh that she's using, that's annoying everybody, is probably a nervous laugh. And I'm not defending her 100% because I told you guys, I feel like this could be 50-50. If she was guilty, I think that she would have tried to lawyer it up by now. I think if you see her in the next day or two say, I need to retain a lawyer, then I might jump on that bandwagon and say, hey, she's guilty. But to her credit, she's talking, and she's talking clear and concise. She is explaining somewhat of what her actions are, and she's saying that there was mistakes made. I think that if the detectives had a lot on her, like a ton of evidence that she was involved, she'd been hooked up already. She'd already been collared up. These would have came out, and she would have been cuffed and collared up. So I feel that there isn't a lot of evidence to bring her forward, and the basic fact that she left him with her boyfriend who ultimately killed her is not enough. And you'll hear the prosecutor say it's not enough. So, anyways, again, everybody has different relationships. Like, my relationship with my wife is not going to be the same as your relationship with your wife. Everybody has different types of relationships. And I'm not going to sit here and judge somebody. I don't know these people. I don't know anything about them. Nor do you, nor do anybody that's out there. You guys are just hearing what you're hearing. Her mom or her close friends or anybody in that close circle will know about it, and they're going to be interviewed by the investigators and detectives. I don't listen to fake book and all the rumors that are out there. I look at the facts that are presented by the police department, the district attorney, and I don't go based on rumors and the mob. I'm not into that because we could quickly find out that the mob is just part of the bully process, that you want to just jump on the bandwagon and say, this is a piece of shit. This is a woman who we don't know. I don't know anything about personally. And if she's got an arrest history or she's got some bad history or he's got bad history, we'll come to find that out. And I'm going to wait to hear from that from the prosecution or the police department. And that's the difference, is that I'm not going to just sit here and point my fingers at somebody based on some fake book rumors and some shit that's slinging all over the internet. So right now, based on what we have, they say that there's not enough to arrest her. I know a lot of us don't like that, but that is what it is at this point. Can things change? Yes, things can change. And if things change, we'll know about it. But who will know about it from is the Las Vegas homicide detectives, not fake book.
I don't know, I try to just keep my head strong.
I just have a couple more questions for you. Do you want to address leaving Amari with Terrell and not taking him to Colorado?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay, you don't have to. Do you have a support system?
It's small, but it's something. We're trying to get through everything.
Anything else you want to say, and anything about like a memorial or funeral arrangements?
We're still conversating and trying to work something together. And
more likely, all those things are going to be private, so it won't be a notice of anything. Maybe until after it happens, but the family would like to have their time and have that in private, at least so she can be safe to, people been asking as well, why hasn't she been out here? But it's like, you guys are throwing hate at the same time, and it's like, how do you want her to come out here and feel safe trying to search for her son or be out here with you guys if you guys are, throwing hate? So, it's just a difficult situation. I'm just telling her to keep her head up. We just have to move forward. So as long as she get her time to grieve and lay her baby to rest, at least privately without any other mess, after that, everybody can have their opinion on what they want to say and speculate. Because again, she wouldn't be here, standing right here, if she had something to do with it. So, everybody's going to figure that out, once everything's all said and done, and just let it be.
Incredible tragedy. Incredible tragedy. We'll continue to.
Okay, so that guy is like a second father, according to the news reporter and according to what was written. She asked him what his name was. He spelled out his name. I'm not going to put his name out there, but it is out there. He's basically been, as they refer to him, as a second father to little Amari. So that's just a little bit more from Court TV. Again, listen, I respect everyone's opinion when it's said respectfully. I'm not saying that the mother is innocent 100%. I say that we have to use our best judgment and understand that the investigation has to unfold as it happens. And things in an investigation, sometimes they're going this way and then they can take a quick right-hand turn or quick left-hand turn. And when that happens, that's the only time that you'll hear me speak about anything that involves the birth mother. Was her boyfriend a gang member? Was he a bad dude? Yeah. Did they have one report to CPW, to child welfare? There was a report, but it was unsubstantiated. That's according to the law enforcement and according to what was released. So I know of at this time, and that doesn't mean that there isn't more. I know of at this time one report that was unsubstantiated. Let me get the next piece of media that I want to show you, because I told you I did this in no uncertain term. I wanted you guys to see, but I want to cue up how I want you to see how ruthless this guy who admitted to killing this boy, how ruthless he is, and how just stone cold, just ice cold in before he's the suspect. This is 2 days after he killed this kid. This is the interview that he gave, and it's the condensed version. I'm not going to give you the full version, but let me know if the volume is good. If you can't stand this or you're suffering PTSD, I want to say hello to Jennifer Nobles. I know she was here. She's probably working, but I wanted to say hello to Jennifer. Thank you for being in here. This is 5 minutes. I'm not going to play it all, but let me know if the volume is good. But this is him and her before he gets locked up and before he admits to doing what he did.
We miss our baby boy. Watching, mommy and daddy loves you, and we hope you get home soon.
The volume sounds low in my ear. Let me know if the volume's good.
Just, share our post on Facebook, share the news reports, and try to get the word out and his picture around, and keep on a lookout to be able to find, where he is, and to be able to bring him home back safe and sound. My mom got attacked by a dog, and it chewed her tendon in her ankle, so she had to have 2 hours of surgery and over 60 stitches, so she was crippled, not able to walk. So I left on Friday to go to help take care of her, and I had only been gone 4 days before I woke up to a phone call saying my son was gone. And when I found that out,
all right, so then I'm not going to play it because I can't adjust it. That's the loudest I could play it. So I'm not going to play it then if it's that low. All right, you guys have seen that. I would suggest you go over to. Let me just try one other thing. I saved a YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, stand by. Let's see if this works. This works better.
message to public is,
I don't know why it plays so low. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let me try something else. DutyRon never gives up. I don't ever give up. I'm going to open up another browser. Hold on, kids. Never fear. DutyRon's here. All right, I'm going to open up another browser. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. I think this might work. Unless you guys don't want to hear it. All right. Here it is. I got it. Yes. I am badass when it comes to some of this stuff. I know you guys don't like to wait. Let's see if this works.
message to public is our baby boy, and if he's watching,
Shit.
mommy and daddy loves you, and we hope
It's
you
just
get home
low.
soon
The volume's
safely.
just low. All right. It didn't work. Anyways. All right. So Beats Audio says English Rose. Thank you. No, it's just certain things. I tried to do it on Chrome, on a Chrome browser, and then I did it on Firefox. So sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. On this one, I think I lost. Hold on. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try it directly from the news thing. One more. I don't like to give up quickly.
We miss our baby boy, and
Shit.
if he's watching, mommy and daddy.
All right. Well, I'm going to concede. It stinks, but sometimes you have to concede. So, all right, let's do the Q&A and then we'll wrap it up. We could hear it, DutyRon, says Christine. Now everyone's having a change of heart. If you guys can hear it,
Attacked by a dog and it chewed her
I'll play it.
tendon in her ankle.
It's going to just
so
be
she's
low.
gonna have 2 hours of surgery and over 60 stitches.
I just don't
so
want
she
you
will
guys to
crippled,
be
not able to walk.
annoyed
So
with the volume.
I left on Friday to go to help take care of her, and I had only been gone 4 days before I woke up to a phone call saying my son was gone. And when I found that out, I hopped in the car and drove 2.5 hours to get to the airport, since it's a small little country city, and hopped on the next plane and landed in Vegas around 2:30, and then that's when the search was able to happen. I had called police at 7 in the morning to be able to report him as a missing child, and the responders came out, and one called and spoke to me over the phone. The other talked to my boyfriend about the situation of what happened, and they had a misunderstanding and canceled the search, and so my son was missing for 8 hours with nobody looking for him. And then when I came in town and they were finally able to speak to me is when they finally were able to report him as missing. And they've searched everything and trying to do what they can. We just wish it was, a little bit more.
From my knowledge, I was already notified that somebody would be coming over, but
piece of shit.
I didn't think when, I didn't know when, I didn't expect when, and then when somebody did come, they notified themselves as my girlfriend, baby daddy's sister, and they said they was here to pick up Amari, and notified me that it was already prearranged. So, from my understanding, from already being told by my girlfriend that somebody would be over, I wasn't told who, I wasn't told when, but I still had that in the back of my mind. So when that person knocked on the door, that's what my mind recommended right back to. So that's who I thought was there to pick up Amari. And as I'm finna call my girlfriend and pack his bag at the same.
This story is the story that got everybody, obviously. It just makes no sense. And even her own mom said it just didn't make no sense. I played that in the beginning. This whole thing of the misunderstanding of someone was going to come. And hear me out. I could be wrong, but this is what I feel happened. And this is completely my feeling on this. He didn't want to take care of the kid. She was there. This is what I heard and read from the news, from the media, that basically they were arguing because he wanted her to come back because he didn't want to take care of the kid. And she was saying, someone's going to come by. And I think that someone's going to come by thing is to try to help him with this 2-year-old boy. And maybe she made reference to like someone's going to come by because she was trying to reach out to someone to come over and help him with the kid. Or it's just a total lame-ass story. So, for me, that's the only thing in my mind on her side of what she said to him. Because she didn't say that she didn't say someone was going to be by, but she didn't specify who was going to be by and why and for what. And he said he made the assumption, which was a complete lie. So the part about someone coming by, she's not saying that she didn't say that. She's just saying that she didn't say someone was going to take the kid. So.
Same time, she says that they already got everything that they need for him, and I don't need to pack anything. He'll be fine. And she recollected, and she proceeded out the door. And as I'm on the phone trying to call my girlfriend, my last look of her was just walking down the stairs. So I closed the door and I started calling my girlfriend over and over until she answered the phone and asked her, was anybody supposed to come that day to pick up Amari? And she said no. I said the lady just came to the door, says that she's her baby daddy's sister, and they just picked up Amari. And she started freaking out. That's when I ran out the door and immediately started combing the area, looking around, see what I can. And I ain't see nothing. Bring our.
Sarah Jean, thank you for putting that up because I forgot about that part. But that was part of the interview that I saw. She said the reason she said someone would be by was just to piss him off because they were arguing and poking the bear back and forth. Thank you for that. That comment is great because I completely forgot about that part. But yeah, so she did say that because I watched a report that said that. So
Son back wherever you at, bring him back like immediately.
It's disgusting. I mean, he's a helpless 2-year-old. He's tiny and can't fight back. He doesn't know where he's at, doesn't know where mommy and daddy are because we're the only 2 people that he knows.
Isn't it interesting that she said he can't fight back? Did anybody pick up on that?
And 2-year-old, he's tiny and can't fight back. He doesn't know where he's at, doesn't.
Anybody pick up on that in that interview? Why would she say he can't fight back? So there's another interesting thing that you could try to pick apart. I don't know if it was just
where mommy and daddy are.
a coincidence
wherever you
or
at, bring him back like immediately.
I'm going back to it.
It's disgusting. I mean, he's a helpless 2-year-old. He's tiny and can't fight back.
Huh. As an investigator, if I was working this case, I would definitely question that. Why did she say he can't fight back when it's alleged here that someone stole the kid, somebody kidnapped the kid, the baby daddy's sister, or some like that?
He doesn't know where he's at, doesn't know where.
Bring our son back wherever you at, bring him back.
This guy's such a real, oh man, I hope jailhouse justice prevails. I swear, man, I don't wish death onto anyone, but this guy is, it makes me as a seasoned law enforcement guy sick to look at this guy. I can only imagine what you guys feel when you see him.
Like immediately.
It's disgusting. I mean, he's a helpless 2-year-old. He's tiny and can't fight back. He doesn't know where he's at, doesn't know where mommy and daddy are because we're the only 2 people that he knows. And he needs medicine. He's scared. He doesn't know who these people are. And we just asked to bring him back safe and sound because he doesn't deserve this. This is not okay.
And what's really sickening is that people is making.
Here's the icing on the cake. This is an example, ladies and gentlemen. But those of you who have never interviewed someone who has taken somebody else's life, this is the amazing part of what the criminal mind is capable of. I'm going to break down this guy's statement with my polygraph experts from the FBI and Dan Ribicoff. We're going to break this guy down. This is just so amazing that this guy can sit in front of TV cameras and say what he says here.
Assumptions, thinking that I have something to do
How
with
arrogant.
What's really sickening is that people is making assumptions, thinking that I have something to do with it, that I have her manipulated in some way, which that's sickening to me also, because
you're sickening to me. How about that? Anyways, yeah, turning it around, making it about himself.
We ain't never do nothing like that to him.
Yeah, looking down at the floor. He can't even look up.
Apparently not now. We ain't never do nothing like that to him. Apparently not now.
So we're just waiting, hoping something pops into the air, someone slips up, and he's able to return home.
Right now. So we're gonna try to plan out a search party for him. And see how that works. How we're gonna do the best we can and do whatever we can to find him.
See how that works out. eye blocking, looking away, not looking straight forward, never looking straight at the camera, always looking left and right.
Going to create the search party on Facebook, and a Facebook event that's going to be public, and we
Looking
try to
straight
advise
down at the
anyone
floor.
who's free and not doing anything to come out and try to help us find him. Comb through the city, see if he's anywhere in sight. We have a few ideas of where he could be, and the police are just saying that it's an ongoing investigation, so they're not able to share much, and we can't, share
All right.
all the details either because it's still ongoing. And
I've seen enough of this. All right, guys. So let me do 5 minutes of Q&A. I'll pick out some of the questions from the audience. Keep it, keep it civil. I'm not gonna go into things that I can't answer, that I don't know the definitive answers to. So again, if you have any questions, I know there was a lot of them that came by. I'll do 5 minutes of that, and I'll be paying attention to the chat for questions. And I appreciate everyone being civil here. And I will go back and review the chat. If there's anything disrespectful in there, I'm going to go ahead and delete that message and perhaps block that person. Again, quickly, I'll say this. If somebody's guilty of a crime, you need to have tremendous amount of evidence against them to bring forward criminal charges. You can't just bring these handcuffs out and just lock everybody up just because you don't like what they're saying. I get that we don't like what she's saying and what she did, but it has to constitute a crime under the criminal code of the United States. It has to fall under the penal law in the state of Nevada. If it doesn't fall under the penal law and you can't charge a crime, what good is using these when she's just going to get out of the charges? They're going to drop the charges. So you need to have arrestable evidence. And unfortunately, at this point right now, they don't have arrestable evidence against her. As much as we all would like to see her perhaps pay some kind of price for being reckless and leaving her kid with that savage animal who killed her, that's the situation under the Constitution of the United States and the law. All right, let me look. Yeah, she is monotone when she speaks. They say that she lost another child. How? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. You're welcome. Thank you, pretty young thing. Nancy Eileen says, do you think Amari's mother was in on it in some way, DutyRon? I don't know. She definitely doesn't seem 100% to me. And I said it in the previous video. I said I'm 50-50 on it. But I do get some bad vibes from her and her story. Sophie says, how do you feel their demeanor compares to the West? Similar. I see a controlling boyfriend, husband, but I also see her speaking freely right next to him. In other words, he didn't take charge of the conversation to the media. So I see some extreme polar opposites, where I see Taylor controlling the conversation while he sits there in guilt and puts his head down. In the beginning of this interview, at one point he walks away and comes back. He actually leaves he leaves the interview and then walks back. So as far as Trezell and Jacqueline, Trezell took charge of that whole press conference. She said very few things, whereas here Taylor said the bulk of everything for the most part. But a similar relationship where perhaps behind closed doors she's being controlled by this guy. Yeah, maybe. I don't know 100%. Do you think, DutyRon, he was trying to commit suicide by cop? I think he'd rather die than face what awaits him. Rochelle, that's a very good point. By taking the cop's gun, maybe he figured they would shoot him and he wouldn't have to face these charges. That's a possibility, yes. But he didn't do a very good job of it because he is now going to be costing us thousands of dollars going through the criminal justice system. I'm holding some of the questions. I'm holding the chat, and I'm actually looking at the questions. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Try to hold some of the questions. What do you think about Taylor sent early hours May 3rd when she broke up with this monster? How come she didn't get a friend to go pick up Amari? She only mentioned her belongings. I have to look into that because I didn't read anything about that. But again, when you're talking about arresting for the death or the murder of your son, that type of action doesn't constitute criminal behavior. As much as you don't want to hear that. Taylor is guilty of neglect and poor judgment. Other than that, she is a victim, in my opinion. Thank you, Ellie. I tend to concur with that statement. She made some stupid judgment calls, but if she in fact is guilty of any crimes, she will be charged. The police are not her friend, nor is she like she said, she's around detectives, and that's something that most people don't like to be around detectives if they don't have to be, you know. He confessed apparently. He failed the polygraph and then confessed. There you go. Shannon, that's what's being reported. Do you think he tried to commit suicide by cop? All right, I already covered that one. Let me look back. Yes, Sheila, he did. Yes, he did. How long had she been seeing this monster? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm looking back at some of the questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. Crystal, I'm reading that comment, but I'm not going to go on that because, again, it's like fake book. I don't go based on what another YouTuber says or what anybody else says or screenshots and all that bullshit. I go with what law enforcement's saying because that was my profession for 20 years. And I know that you need, again, and I don't mean to sound like a beating a dead horse here, but you basically need something that constitutes a crime, and you need the evidence to back it up. You need to be able to prove under no uncertain terms that this girl did something criminal. And if, in fact, they have that, she would be collared and in cuffs right now. But they don't have that. So all of this banter and this conversation, and as much as you might not like me saying this, it's all wasted energy because you can sit there and you can say she should have did this or she should be locked up for neglect. She should be this. She should be that. But at the end of the day, they don't have it. And the sooner you realize it, the better off you'll be, and you'll stop wasting your time talking about it. Again, I agree that she made bad decisions. She is with a bad person. But you know how many women and men are with toxic people and dangerous people that engage in criminal activity? You know how many children are in danger right at this very second in a similar relationship just as these two had? You know how many kids right now, little babies, infants, newborns, 2-year-old, 1-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, all different ages, are in dire trouble or in extreme dangerous situations because of children having children, young kids, young adults having kids that don't even know how to take care of them. So there's tens of thousands of kids, hundreds of thousands perhaps, across the globe that are in really bad situations with criminal parents, maybe one on one side or both of them together. That's what makes this world up, you know? And for us to sit and, just throw shade at somebody that we really don't know, we're just basing it on the pile. Let's just jump on the pile and just go with what everyone's saying on Facebook. But if this girl had an OnlyFans, like people were saying, and all that she was into, illicit behavior and things of that nature, it still is not going to bring her in for charges of murder of her own son. It's not going to bring her in for neglect. Neglect has to be shown and proven. And CPS, when they came for the last year or whenever it was, they adjudicated that. They said that it was unsubstantiated. So, anyways, I appreciate everyone hanging in there. It's an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to have more on this. If you like everything true crime from a police perspective, I served 20 plus years in the New York City Police Department as a detective and as a police officer. Again, this is a terrible tragedy. I say my prayers. I say God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us being here in the chat and all victims of crime across our world, across the United States of America. And the victims and families. God bless them all. They need strength. They need help. They need support. Again, this is a terrible tragedy. This is a terrible situation. This won't be the first or the last that we hear of. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. Please subscribe to all my social media. One word, DutyRon, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Go over to my Discord group where you can gain access without any toxic negative behavior. I say this to you, stay away from negativity and toxic behavior. If you are hanging around people who are negative all the time and that have nothing but toxic stuff to spill to you, misery loves company. Don't hang out with them. Those are shitbags. I'm gonna bleep it. Those are shitbags. If you want to go down that road, then have at it. But you're not going to get it here. So I appreciate everyone being in here. Love and respect from my house to yours. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you to my mods, the replay viewers, Patreon, and all of the subscribers who engage positively here. Leave me a message down in the comments section, and I'll see you on the next live. Peace from DutyRon.